Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I am extremely excited about getting to have today's guest, who, when I tell you about, you'll see why. For those of you who are here for the first time, my name is Roy. I'm a startup investor in the future work. My voice is usually not this hoarse, but did a lot of yelling this weekend of the joyous, good kind, so it's all good. And I'm here with Michael Saman, who I got to know. I think I got to know you when you were at Facebook still. Um,
Yes,
and so
yes.
Michael is a software engineer and a founder, and he's also been a political advocate and now a writer of a book. He got famous because he released an app to the iOS store when he was like 13 or 14 or something. And then he got hired by Facebook at 17, I think, something like that.
Yep, yep.
And his book is about that journey. It's called App Kid. Show us a book, if you don't mind. There we go. And so about his story, which we'll ask about, but I think there's this great generalizable um, power that you have that I want to ask about today, which is if I'm a junior person in a company and I want leaders to take care of paying attention to my ideas, I think I've got something to offer. How do I do that? And so any wisdom you've got, Michael, thank you.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's funny because I think when I look back at my time at Facebook and trying to kind of influence product direction there, at that time, I didn't really have any background whatsoever or credibility besides a couple of the apps that I built. Um, but I looked around the orientation room and I looked around at the posters. I saw what the executives were saying at the town halls where they would encourage people to bring any idea they had to the table and to really kind of not worry about who you are at the company, but to kind of bring all that in. And I think, to be honest, most people, when they join a company, see that and say, well, that's just the corporate talk where they're just trying to like get you to feel welcome, but they don't actually mean it. And I don't know if it was because I was naive or what, but I decided to take the posters literally and I just started messaging people throughout the company about my ideas and what I wanted to do at Facebook and what I thought needed to change. I just started doing my own talks, and over time, it just kind of manifested itself. So, what I would say is really like, don't wait for anybody to tell you that you're ready to like chime in on
I
something
love that.
because like the companies need you to chime in before they know you do,
I love
right?
that. And, I think you said something in there, sorry to just interrupt for a second, um, that was really powerful, which is that over time, they manifested themselves. I think a lot of people volunteer their ideas and they're like, I gave them a good idea and they didn't take it. What the fuck? And it's like, well, no, it's a trade
No.
craft of continuously trying, but also listening, because we
Yes.
also all know the archetype of the person who's always bring up their ideas and their ideas are always
Mhm.
dumb and you
Yep.
don't want to listen to them. So part of it is also that feedback and learning of like, it's not just that you sent out a missive, you
No.
improved at your ability to bring it to life. But the key
Yes.
thing is you started.
Yes. And there's some I think there's some strategy to it as well. Like, don't just run around and yell your ideas around the company. Like, I don't think that's gonna work necessarily. But I will say, like, try and understand the company and where they are and where people's heads are at within the company. What are the areas that you think maybe people are not paying attention to? Find those little, I kind of think of them as little valleys of thinking within the general culture of a company, and then start talking about that.
Now,
Um,
I love that. Now, let's just talk about identity for a second as part of that, because it's not just being junior and in your case, young in years. You're a man, I don't actually, Latinx, if I remember
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so you come with all this personal history, somebody who's a woman, somebody who's black, somebody who's gay, like may have other experiences in terms of how they're read. How do you think about identity in the context of bringing up your ideas?
I
Does
mean,
it matter? Does
it's
it not
it's
matter?
huge. I think it certainly has an impact, especially culturally at different companies and how people perceive each other based on stereotypes, right? Like, I remember when I was at Facebook, I get frustrated because people would look at me like I was young, and at the time, with my braces in my mouth or whatever,
Oh,
and
I
they
remember
would
that
see,
phase. Also,
yeah.
you were like a
Oh
little
my god, I
pudgier
don't
then, I
want to
gotta
remember
say.
that phase. But yes, oh my gosh, I remember that, and I remember in meetings getting frustrated that maybe people would make assumptions about what I might know or not. And I remember talking to Maxine Williams, who was the chief diversity officer for Facebook, about this, and she
And now a
actually
board
taught
member of one of our portfolio companies, I think. I think she
she
joined
had
the board
taught
of
me
Doma.
something in that moment, though, which was that I may have been experiencing that, that situation with being young temporarily. But when I got older, I would grow up to become, a white adult male that people will consider just like any other and will eventually just kind of fit in. Whereas she was pointing out to me at that time that women, for example, go through the situation of being treated, um, in that way, all the time. They don't get to just grow out of that phase. And so for me, it was huge because I remember being frustrated about my situation and then
You were
realizing,
like,
oh my
in your
gosh,
case, it was this too shall pass. The braces will
yeah,
come off.
yeah. And she was like, this. And so immediately I was like, how can I help? How can I change it? And Maxine was
What
like,
a powerful
okay, slow
realization to
down.
have.
Like, she's like, you can't just fix this,
Yeah.
But I wanted to. I was like, let's just fix it now. And
Well, look, it's
anyway,
not advice, like you said, in the sense that you're not like telling other people what to do, but you're sharing your experience, which I think is so powerful.
yes, yes.
And I just want to say, I have a prediction to make, which I don't really, even though I kind of make predictions for a living as a VC, usually I have a portfolio. This time I make one prediction. But I think when you are 90, you're probably going to be bringing that same smile to all the stuff that you do, because that has not changed. The braces may have changed.
Yeah, but now
You may
now
have
it's
become more
brighter.
mature, but that smile is remaining. All right. Well, we're going to pass out the book. Anything else you want to add before we wrap?
I guess all I would say is like, um, if you're a kid who's trying to find a way into the industry itself, don't wait until a company chooses to reach out to you to get hired. Start
love
working
that.
on your own, start building things and show what you have, because at the end of the day, it's the experiences that you've been able to build on your own that are going to get you there.
I love that. And, we had Amjad Masad, the CEO, co-founder of Replit, on, because that's a platform where a lot of kids are now learning to do that. And the power of the tools that kids have. I mean, when you were 13, you probably thought it was awesome you could release an app to the App Store. Now that's like, I don't know, it's kind of table stakes, man.
Right? Oh my God.
The kids are going to be all right. All right.
Right.
Michael, thank you. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. And for everybody else, we take questions here. You can find us on the internet, comments, whatever, and to be continued.